Hey, welcome back to Boku no Hero Academia, episodes 9 through 13, the last half of the series. Kind of got lazy and, I wanted to talk about them as a whole and talk about the series as a overall review at the end. But episode 9, 10, mostly the handful of episodes we got left, are basically leading up to, I guess, the big fights. And one episode, I think 9, they into this training grounds to basically they're being taught how to use their powers in different situations, like when there's a fire, and there's like a storm, or when there's a flood, or just a bunch of different scenarios that they can work out to, I guess, better utilize their powers because they gotta learn how to save people in these crisis situations, which is what basically the training ground is. But before they can even start their training on this little, I guess, domed area, which is like this big, almost like a stadium, and there are these different little areas divided off. But anyway, before they can even start to, I guess, train or practice or use their powers, these portals start opening inside the stadium, and all these people start walking out of these portals. And one of the teachers who uses like black holes to suck things up realizes that these are villains and they've invaded the school. But before they can get away, and he tells the students to run, the portal drops above them, right in front of them, and Come walks out. This guy who's made of portals, basically. He's made of like black smoke. And he basically prevents them from escaping. And he even hurts one of the teachers pretty badly after he tried to suck him up with his power. So all the characters are then thrown in these portals and scattered throughout the, I guess, the arena. And so they're kind of in their own little sections. So you have Bagia with, I forget the other kid's name. I'm sorry, but he can make his skin real hard, and he's got their spiky hair. So those two are kind of together. You have Deku, the Frog Girl, and Sticky Ball Kid together on this boat in the middle of the water. I guess he falls in the water. But anyway, all the kids are scattered, so they have to do these makeshift tag teams with each other and defeat these mid-level villains. And basically, it kind of focuses more on Deku, kind of figuring out when he can strategize with the Frog Girl. They both kind of figure out something they could do. They bring us surrounded by all these people that are, I guess, they have water abilities, and there are a lot of gripes in the episode where, they're these fish villains. Why can't they just jump on the ship and take over instead of just sitting there waiting for these kids to make a plan? Which I can agree that was really stupid how that happened, but I just ignored it because it's part of the shonen anime. You have the villains kind of standing there boasting about to fight you, but they give you the hero plenty of time to strategize. It's just a shonen thing, so I kind of push that aside right there. But anyway, Deku uses his power to, like, he can flick the water, make this whirlpool, and the Frog Girl's gonna save them, and the Sticky Kid gets activated and starts throwing his sticky balls at people, and it sticks to people. And it was pretty funny. And a lot of things with the episode, you had him kind of like, with the Frog Girl, I think those two are kind of paired up, because he's kind of a pervert, and she's kind of not one to, I guess, scream or anything, but she kind of does act and tries drowning him. He does grab her chest a few times in this episode, and in the episode saying that, for a frog, you have pretty big boobs. So, and she kind of hits him, or almost drowns him. But anyway, the episode kind of ends with that, but it's scaling up to a bigger fight, which you have this guy who has all these multi-arms attached to his body. A lot of people don't like his design, but I think it's interesting a little bit later on. But I just look at it as those hands, I think, are restraints holding him before him using his powers. They really haven't explained much about him in both the manga or the anime, so I'm up in the air about what he can really do. I'm not really even sure. I just think he's maybe a figurehead for this evil organization that he's just kind of scary looking. He looks kind of creepy, so maybe he's just like I don't want to call him a mascot, but that's probably kind of what he is. But anyway, that guy wants to kill All Might. That's his plan. And Deku kind of hears this, and he's a little bit afraid because obviously he knows his master. He knows All Might's not 100%, and he knows the secret about his power not having doesn't last very long. So yeah, that whole thing was kind of interesting, kind of fun. But so yeah, his whole goal is to get into school and find a way to kill All Might. He figured if he hurt his students enough, it'd bring All Might out of hiding and they could fight. And they kind of do, but he's not the one fighting him. There's this other creature called a Nomu, which is like a hulked out zombie robot thing. It's very weird. It's like this brainless creature that is, I can guess, go toe to toe with All Might. So it's kind of weird. But anyway, you had it. Got the fast speed kid. His goal was to get out of this stadium and warn the other teachers. And there's a couple of parts where they try to get around the big smoke guy, but eventually they figure out a way to get him out of there using Eoro's gravity power and someone else's ability. They kind of give him a way out. He escapes and runs off to, I guess, yeah, runs off to get the teachers. Eventually, All Might arrives and he starts fighting this Nomu. But before he fights him, the almost the armed dude almost grabs the frog girl by her face almost. But Deku kind of gets ready to jump up and defend her, but All Might arrives just in time to save them and tells them to run. And so they kind of escape, but Deku's kind of hanging around watching as All Might and this creature that they call Nomu again are fighting each other. So that was kind of cool seeing that. And that fight was pretty interesting. I think episode 10, 11, he's fighting him, and so yeah, it's basically an intense episode where everything's going crazy. So All Might's fighting this monster creature thing, and just yeah, it punches the hell out of this thing. And it basically, this Nomu can, I guess, absorb his blows. So he's absorbing all the attacks, and just All Might just gets so into it and just punches the hell out of this thing. It was funny. It even hits him so hard, it goes flying out of the stadium through the sky, through the roof and all that, and he's just gone. So that was pretty funny. So the other guy's kind of disturbed because that was his plan to use the Nomu to defeat All Might, and it didn't work. But in the meantime, he's gonna kill him. So All Might's power is kind of ticking. His body is slowly, he's running out of time. So they kind of just have this back and forth, and he's about to fight All Might, but Deku kind of jumps in the way. He's about to jump in the way, and I guess the other kid has to leave because the other heroes start arriving. All the teachers start arriving, so they have to quickly leave. And before they do, there's this guy with the Western kind of guy. It's kind of funny. He just pumps the other guy full of bullets, like shoots him a couple times, and he's able to do enough damage to make him leave. So they have to leave. They have to retreat. It's the only way. They leave, and so yeah, they leave, and everyone else who got kind of hurt are put in, I guess, the hospital. Only person who got real bad injuries was maybe Deku, because he broke his legs and he broke his arm, I think, trying to save someone. So yeah, he's kind of hurt. So he's the only one that really got badly damaged. I would say, All Might got hurt too, so he was in the hospital as well. But it kind of ends like there. With that's kind of like just showing you that the evil villains are starting to rise. I guess they're making their plans to try again. All Might being the symbol of peace, they want to, obviously wreck that and knock that down. So yeah, but yeah. So I think the episode kind of it ends right there with Deku kind of realizing that he needs to obviously get better, and all the other students seem to realize the same thing, and that's pretty much where they're going with that. The last episode, and besides that, so the series kind of ends, but they are hinting at another season, and they have announced another season. I was pretty excited because I was kind of wary at the beginning when I only saw 13, but Bones is going to do another season, which I'm happy for, but I'm a little wary of as well. But yeah. So overall series thoughts. Let's see. I think it started off pretty weak. I mean, a lot of people will probably be mad about that. I'm a fan of the manga especially, and I'm a fan of the anime. I liked where it was going, but yeah. So yeah, I think it's a slow build towards Deku's, I guess, eventually becoming a hero, and it takes a while. I mean, I'm just gonna look at it realistically. He's a kid who had no powers in the beginning. All the kids that have the abilities, they had their abilities since they were kids, so they kind of had somewhat of a head start above him, so he wasn't able to, master his abilities like everyone else. So, and that's kind of what the process is of this series, first half anyways, to develop his powers, show you what he's doing, his struggles and all that, and learning how to use his abilities. So, yeah, it was kind of interesting seeing that. Obviously, you had All Might. They wanted to show off his abilities, his story, tell you more about him, and showing you that he's not all powerful, that he doesn't have much time, basically. So his powers aren't very. They're good powers. I mean, it's a great ability, but they're very weak as well, as far as he goes. So so yeah, that was kind of with the All Might and Deku. And then obviously you have the other characters. Side characters don't really get to do a whole lot, unfortunately. You know, like Gravity Girl kind of gets to do more, I would say, than the Frog Girl, which is fine. I mean, Gravity Girl's kind of like the not really. They haven't really said anything about it, but she's supposed to be this. I don't think she's gonna be a romantic thing for Deku, but obviously she is the person who cares about him, and that's the other thing about the series. They're building friendships as well. You see who likes each other and who gets along with each other, obviously. And they also had Kachan, his story, kind of underneath Deku's, about how has he just can't get Deku over his head. He's just like, I can't understand why you have these abilities now when the whole time you didn't have any powers, but now it's letting you do. So he's kind of, a little bit surprised, I would say, at that, like confused as well. Like, why do you have powers when clearly you told me before you didn't have any powers, now you do. What's up? And I kind of wish Deku could tell him, but you can't because Kachan would tell everyone else in school. So it's kind of a no win on that. Can't really tell him what's going on with the powers. And besides that, obviously you had the training bits. They're showing you where they can use their powers, how they use their powers, and the episodes where they had Deku and Urara and Kachan and Ida together doing the hero villain thing was kind of funny, kind of cool, and yeah, that was probably played out a little too long for most people, but I like those episodes. Again, it shows you what they're doing with the powers. You have to learn how to use them, situations to use them in. And but yeah, overall series was really fun. It does drag on a little bit in some episodes. A lot of people complain. I think what easy to complain. There's too many training episodes. And I can kind of agree, but again, there's a lot of these kids that have powers and know how to use them. A lot of kids that don't know how to use them, as far as like Deku goes. And him getting his powers is kind of silly, all that. But yeah, overall, I just like what they did with the series, and I'm surprised Bones is doing another season. I'm really happy they're getting another one, and that's about it. I mean, I don't know what else I can talk about in the series other than I liked it. It was slow at the beginning, and again, if you're not a fan of the whole shonen training and not becoming a amazing at the bat, you're gonna be bored with the series. And if the people that are gonna compare it to One Punch Man, it's probably gonna happen. It's probably unfortunate that Boku no Hero Academia has to come out right after One Punch Man, so they're gonna be comparing the two heavily, just because they're both superhero themed and